Okay, so I know you guys love a good mystery, right? I mean, who doesn't, right? Especially when it involves things we can't quite explain. And, we've been covering some really interesting stuff lately, haven't we? Unexplained events,
Hmm.
historical mysteries, all that good stuff.
Yeah, we've gone deep on some pretty wild topics.
We have. And today's a big one. We are diving headfirst into the Rendlesham Forest Incident.
Ooh, Britain's Roswell, as some call it.
Exactly. Now, I'm sure some of you listening are already familiar with at least the basics.
December 1980, right?
You got it. December 1980, two RAF bases in Suffolk, England.
And a whole lot of weird stuff happening in the woods.
That's putting it mildly. But today, we're not just going to skim the surface.
No way.
We're going to analyze the evidence, pore over those eyewitness accounts.
Really try to unpack why this thing still fascinates us after all these years.
It's been over 40 years.
Ah.
Okay, so before we get too deep into the weeds here, let's set the stage. Remind everyone what we're dealing with.
Sure, so picture this. It's December 1980. You're an airman stationed at one of these RAF bases.
Probably missing home, just had Christmas.
Absolutely. And
Uh-huh.
suddenly, you start getting reports of strange lights out in Rendlesham Forest.
And we're not talking about your average run-of-the-mill lights here.
Not even close.
So let's talk about that first night, December 26th.
Right, the initial encounter.
This is where it all kicks off. What exactly did these airmen see?
Well, they reported seeing this triangular craft. They estimated it to be about 10 feet across.
10 feet? That's pretty big.
Yeah, and about 8 feet high, with 3 legs.
3 legs, huh? So not your typical flying saucer.
No, not at all. And here's the thing, it wasn't just hovering. They described it moving silently, almost effortlessly, through the trees.
And then what?
Then, poof, it just shoots up into the sky.
Like it was never there.
Yeah.
But it gets weirder, right? Because they find something on the ground.
Oh, yeah. They found what looked like landing marks right where this thing had supposedly touched down.
So we're not talking about some blurry lights in the distance. We have something physical here.
Exactly. And that right there, that's what takes this from just a curious sighting to something way more intriguing.
Absolutely. So we have these initial reports, potential physical evidence. It's already getting pretty wild.
Yeah.
And then the next night, things escalate even further.
Oh, yeah. Things get really interesting.
So tell me, what happens on night 2?
Well, Lieutenant Colonel Halt, the deputy base commander, decides he's got to see this for himself.
He's not just going to take their word for it.
No way.
Yeah.
So he puts together a team,
And they go back into the forest.
back into the forest, armed with a tape recorder this time.
Smart thinking. They wanted to document whatever they encountered.
Exactly. And thank goodness they did.
Because that tape recording has become pretty legendary in UFO circles, hasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's one of the most compelling pieces of evidence from the whole incident. You can hear the astonishment in Halt's voice as he's describing these bright lights moving above the trees.
It's like he can't believe what he's seeing.
Yeah, there's this sense of awe, but also confusion. And the thing is, these lights weren't just randomly flickering.
They were moving in formation.
Information. It was like they were being controlled.
So this isn't just some weird weather phenomenon. This is suggesting something intelligent.
Definitely. And on top of the lights and the recording, they found something else at the alleged landing site.
What's that?
Abnormal radiation levels.
Radiation. That changes things.
Right. So if those readings were accurate, what does that tell us about what was going on there?
Like, what could possibly cause those kinds of readings? Could it be some sort of advanced technology?
It's a question that's been debated for years. And to make things even more bizarre, some members of the team reported seeing a glowing object. And get this, they said they saw shadows moving inside it.
Okay, now that's just creepy. So we have these strange lights, radiation, and now a glowing object with shadows inside. It's like something out of a sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
But we also have to remember that these are first-hand accounts from trained military personnel.
Right. These are people who are used to observing and reporting accurately.
They're not easily fooled.
Exactly. Their credibility really lends weight to the entire incident. Take Sergeant Bustenzer, for example. He described seeing lights that changed color and intensity.
Almost like they were pulsing.
Yeah, exactly. And then you have Airman Burroughs, who witnessed this white light that suddenly exploded.
Exploded. Like a bomb.
No, silently. And when it disappeared, it revealed this oval-shaped craft behind it.
So it's like they were witnessing some incredibly advanced technology at work.
Something capable of maneuvering in ways we don't understand and manipulating light itself.
I mean, it's mind-blowing. And what always strikes me is the consistency in those eyewitness accounts.
Right, they're not just vague, hazy memories.
They're full of specific details.
Details about the movement of the lights, the colors, even the emotions they felt.
Awe, confusion, fear, maybe.
All of that. And when you have multiple trained observers reporting such similar experiences.
It becomes really hard to dismiss it all as mass hysteria or a hoax.
Exactly. So here we are. Compelling eyewitness testimony, physical evidence like the landing marks and radiation readings, and that incredible tape recording. You'd think we'd have some concrete answers by now.
Right. You would think someone somewhere would have figured this thing out,
Well, here's where things get even more interesting. Despite multiple investigations.
including one initiated by a U.S. senator, no less.
Yeah, Senator James Exxon. He was a high-ranking member of the Armed Services Committee.
So this wasn't just some local news story. It caught the attention of some pretty powerful people.
Exactly. But even with all that, there's still no official explanation for what happened at Rendlesham Forest.
The genuine mystery.
A real head-scratcher. And of course, the lack of concrete answers is exactly why people are still so fascinated by it.
It leaves room for speculation, for theories.
It does. And there are plenty of those floating around.
Let's hear some of them.
Okay, well, some people believe it was a secret military experiment.
Maybe involving some super advanced technology they were testing out.
Right. Others think it could have been a natural phenomenon.
Some weird atmospheric condition that created those strange visual effects.
It's possible. But of course, the theory that always captures the imagination is the possibility of extraterrestrial involvement.
Aliens. It wouldn't be a UFO discussion without aliens, would it?
I guess not. And it's no surprise that the alien theory is the one that's really taken hold in popular culture.
I mean, it's the most exciting explanation, right?
For sure. Rendlesham Forest has been the subject of so many documentaries, books, you name it.
There's even a UFO trail now for people who want to visit the site and try to experience the mystery firsthand.
It's incredible how this one event has captured the public imagination.
It really speaks to our fascination with the unknown.
Our desire to make sense of the things that defy easy explanation. And for a lot of people, the possibility of alien contact is just too tantalizing to ignore.
I get it. It's exciting to think that we might not be alone in the universe.
Absolutely. So we've got these credible accounts, official investigations that hit dead ends, and a whole lot of unanswered questions. The Rendlesham Forest Incident, it's not just a cool story.
It's an ongoing enigma.
One that forces us to think critically about what we know and what we don't know.
To be open to the possibility that there are things out there that we might not fully understand.
And that's the beauty of it, isn't it? It's not a closed case. It's an invitation to keep exploring, to keep asking questions.
To keep searching for those answers.
Yeah.
So here's something for you to think about. If you were tasked with investigating Rendlesham Forest, where would you even begin?
What piece of evidence would you focus on?
It's a mystery that begs to be solved, and maybe, just maybe, one day we will.